develop and see what you got in this young raw talent. Here's my only issue with the way the Colts have handled him. When they drafted him, was it number 5 overall? Might have even been higher, right?
I think it's 4.
They acknowledged dude's raw. He'd played like 14 football games in his life. Like that's high school and college, and they acknowledged they're drafting a raw talent who they had to teach to play football. Certainly at that level. Okay. Then they threw him into the fire, right? If he'd have run the Jordan Love route, where he was sitting behind someone, or even J.J. McCarron, who got hurt, or even Michael Penix, who's sitting behind Kirk Cousins. Like, if anybody was going to benefit from that route, sitting behind a veteran and learning, but they didn't have anybody, so they threw him out there, and you wonder if that broke him.
No, because he got hurt.
He did get hurt.
So he played 3.5 games.
Right.
And then sat out, but he wasn't able to do anything because he was recovering from shoulder surgery his rookie season. Like, this is...
Okay, and then this year...
So I was one that said that Anthony Richardson needed a reset, but it was always to come back to him.
Back to Indianapolis.
Like
Indianapolis to come back to him. Yeah, I agree.
Just back, because you had back-to-back games. The dude completed 10 passes. Mm-hmm. Like, it wasn't looking good, and then you had the tapping out on top of that, and the way I'm sure the veterans felt on that team, and talking about it, like, all right, take a step back and reset. Mm-hmm. Now, Flacco didn't come in and explode like he did in Cleveland, and I do think it's a little messy because on Monday, your head coach said Joe Flacco's still your quarterback.
Yeah.
And then on Wednesday, it's Anthony Richardson. So is there a little more going on as opposed to a thought-out plan of how to just reset quickly and then get Anthony Richardson back out there? Because ultimately, he has to play football. But when you have that kind of turnaround within the same week, is that, hey, we had a conversation with Joe, who was honest about it, and he's not playing well, and so we're going to go back and understand the development process, or is it coming from higher above? So it's messy right now, but it's an opportunity. You have to clear messaging going, yes, we're an NFL franchise, we're doing everything every single day to try to win this game, but this is about quarterback development right now for this team.
Sure feels like it's coming from higher above, doesn't it? I mean, I'm an owner, and I'm sitting there going, wait a minute, man, I just invested the number 4 overall pick. All right, fine. I gave you leeway. I gave you a month. You benched the guy for the 40-year-old guy or the 39-year-old guy, and we're losing. And now you're out there saying he's the guy the rest of the year. No. That's not where my franchise is going. I mean, I absolutely, I think that's what happened. Don't you?
Yes. For the coach to come out Monday and said, even after 2 straight losses, it's still Joe Flacco, and then 2 days later, Anthony Richardson, starting quarterback.
Yeah. And it's a tough, and I'm sure that was a tough press conference for Shane Steichen. I'm sure, I mean, for him to have to sit there and eat that crow, that had to be a kick in the stick to him too, right? Because he went out, you've entrusted me to make football decisions. I made a football decision. I went out and I addressed the media and I told the world. And there was probably a phone call or a get up to my office meeting, and we're playing the kid. We're losing. Your guy's not winning. I invested a lot in this kid. I brought you in to develop a young quarterback. Go do it. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. Right? Anybody who's had a boss has had one of those conversations, right? I'm not asking you to do this, I'm telling you. You and I have been in those meetings. Right? Everybody has. Yeah, it's ugly, man. It is ugly. This is real. Ravens are 1-3 against the Steelers with Lamar Jackson in the lineup. Why? He's turned the ball over 10 times in those 4 games. Why? He was asked about it. He said, I can't explain it. Quote, I don't know. It's a different team right now, different guys last year. It's a different unit this year, but it's always the same goal. We want to win. We want to be the ones that come out victorious, and that's going to be the goal going into this game. Why? And I don't have an answer. You don't have an answer. But Steelers-Ravens is interesting this week. Steelers-Ravens is really, really juicy. Steelers-Ravens is really good. And I'm not going to lie. I've been wrong on Russ. I'm not willing to completely buy into Russ.
It's a lot of moonball. It is. But for some reason, that's working when that play wasn't there with Justin Fields early in the season.
I'm just not ready to completely buy in. All right, how about this, dude? You go to work. You're Patrick Mahomes. You're Travis Kelce. The world knows you're at work. And so these scumbags are burglarizing your house. This isn't an uncommon story, but this is happening too. Not in Albuquerque, damn it. There's crime elsewhere. There's crime in Kansas City, Missouri. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Cumulus Media Station.
Even if they're not that proud of us.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico
For 5 years running.
It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta, and JJ Buck.
And JJ Buck. It's the opening drive. JJ Buck, and I'm merely Jeff Symbieta. Thanks for being with us. You get the nice echo on there. I like that. And JJ Buck. And JJ Buck. Cool. You don't like it? We can get a redone. No, probably
I'll take
not.
it.
I mean, because it still says 5 years in a row. I think we've won 8 out of the last 9 years or something like that, right? Yeah, we should probably get that updated too. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. Thank you for being with us this morning. 505-246-0610. I've asked the question this morning. Lobo fan, those of you who have been waiting on football, who've said all year, I don't know, man. I don't want to watch them lose. Like, give me something to go out. Have they given you something? Have they piqued your interest? Are you interested in going out this weekend? Game 11 of the season, an opportunity against a ranked team, still with bowl hopes alive. Is that enough for you? It's not, if it's not, I understand. I'm not preaching. I'm just asking. Have they done enough for you? The Broncos said, and there's that promo that runs from Lobo Talk, or was it on our show? I think it's from our show. Early in the season, some people jump on early, late, whatever. There's always time, when you decide Lobo football's for you. Have you decided that yet? Just asking that. Got hit on the NBA last night, and then I'm going on the phones here in a minute. 505-246-0610, but I teased this going into the break. Dude, I hope they catch these guys, and I hope they get to put them in a room with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Maybe bring Jason Kelce in as well, and just let them have their way. Sometimes I think that's just. I know you think I'm an idiot like that. Kansas City area homes of Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce were burglarized last month during games. Cass County in Missouri. The sheriff's office said the break-ins occurred at Mahomes' residence shortly after midnight, October 6th, when he was on the road. Didn't provide further details. Kelsey's home burglarized the next day. Kelsey's home loss totaled $21,000, including $20,000 in cash. Mahomes confirmed it. He said it's frustrating. He's disappointed. This is one of those, man. You know a guy's on the road and you go get him, or it's IPS, baby. 505. I give you their number, didn't I? Call IPS, 505-897-2420. Mike, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. How you living, Mike?
Man, I'm living great, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Too bad about the guys in Kansas City getting robbed. I mean, happens to everybody, so maybe they're more like normal people than the rest of us. Maybe more than we think.
Yeah, no, that's true. And then everybody says, well, the crime in Albuquerque, I want to move somewhere. It's everywhere, man. It's everywhere.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally what I'm saying. So, hey, what I want to get at this morning is kind of like what I texted yesterday. Talent is a reflection. It's not a projection. As a professional, you work in the industry. When you're evaluating people, you're looking at talent by what they can do, not by hope. Hope is a projection, and this is a huge issue with, like, the NBA. That's why there's so many foreign stars in the NBA, because the AAU doesn't do any development. And when you see these American kids coming out of college, if you have a lot of hope for their ability, but the talent doesn't really project it, and they're not team players. That's not my point. My point is with football and in all aspects. For example, Shane Steichen, fantastic offensive coordinator. Lots of hope that he'd be a good coach, but maybe he is, maybe he's not. Anthony Richardson, perfect example. Lots of hope at the University of Florida. You say, man, this guy surely could be really talented, but then you figure out, he's really not that talented. He's got a bunch of raw talent, but that translate into being an NFL quarterback? I really don't think so. And I think that the NFL has just greatly run into this because of kind of like what Aaron Rodgers was saying. There's no patience. Nobody has any patience. And I understand everybody wants to win now. It's that competitive. But the talent, the product being put on the field, for example, this weekend's my birthday. My wife and family are huge Cowboy fans. They want to take me out to Dallas to go watch the game against C.J. Stroud and the Texans. But now it's like, oh, hell no, we don't want to go to that. The Cowboys cannot put a valuable product out onto the field. I mean, it's just a waste of time. $350 tickets, can't sell them for $50 right now. And that's because the NFL is paralyzed by the concept that they think talent is a projection instead of a reflection. Thanks for taking my call, guys.
That's really interesting. 505-246-0610. So if you want to go Monday night, Cowboys, Texans, you can get StubHub tickets for $28 right now. Standing room only $28 for a Cowboys game.
Now, I really like where Mike is going with that thought.
Yeah.
But it is a projection with young quarterbacks.
Of course it is. All of them.
It is. And I don't think the system's as broken as people are making it out to be. I think the challenge is trusting the process. Because everyone says, everyone's trying to win. You have veterans on this team. Yeah, but some of these quarterbacks need more time, whether that's playing through it and or sitting. But you have ownership that has a lack of patience. You have fan bases that have a lack of patience that want immediate changes. And we've all been guilty of it as a talking head. I'm throwing my hand up there as well. But with these young quarterbacks, it absolutely is a projection.
I think trusting the process means different things in different situations, right? The process, if you come into Carolina where they've been bad and you've got the first-round pick every year, you got more time.
Not with that ownership.
Well, all right, fair enough. But where Indianapolis thought they were when they got Anthony Richardson, they thought they were on the cusp, right? I think it was shown, too, the fact that they were a game away from winning a division with Gardner Minshew last year. Yes. No, that's kind of my point. Yeah, that's exactly my point, right? So the process is intended to move much more quickly than maybe if you don't believe in your roster. When J.J. McCarron plays next year, the process is going to be shrunk because they believe that team's really good, right? As opposed to, look, Jaden Daniels, now, look, the process took off, but he would have had more time. They got a new coach, and they've been horrible. But if he was stumbled more, like you'd have had more patience. But I think all that's right. The process is just defined, I think, differently depending on where your franchise is, or at least where your front office believes your franchise is. Everybody wants to win now. Like, what's the process with Bo Nix in Denver? And does the process reset because he's way better than you thought he was going to be?
I think what gets lost is willing to adjust to what your eyes tell you. I think more so than the reflection versus projection, I think a lot of us, and I think the majority of sports fans, and I think probably even those in management positions, are paralyzed by preseason expectations versus, this is actually who we are. And not being able to adjust to that, just going, we're underperforming, we stink. No, maybe you were more like this rather than what you thought, and not being able to adjust your mindset there, and just going, we were supposed to be good. We were picked second in the preseason. Well, that doesn't mean anything.
The illustration of that, Dallas Cowboys, Florida State, right? Arizona. Although Arizona got but everybody gets decimated by injury. Everybody's hurt. Everybody's banged up. It's the middle of November, for crying out loud. Everybody's beat up. Speaking of Bo, he's been really, really good. How do you like where this is going? They're really, really, I don't know if it's quiet. I'm interested to be up in Denver for a couple of days and listen to the noise up there and what they're saying. Their center up there, Alex Forsyth, is emerged basically, as he wrote here, the primary culprit for allowing the jailbreak that gave Leo Chenal, the linebacker for the Chiefs, the chance to block the game-winning field goal. Bo Nix, who played with the center, Forsyth, in Oregon in 2022, addressed it. And I like the way he's taken charge on this. I really do. Quote, there's a lot of negative talk when somebody messes up, but I think it should be known how valuable he is to our team, how much he is respected throughout our locker room. It really ticks me off that people can say those things about him and not even see how he works or how he responds or how he plays. I have no doubt that Alex Forsyth's going to respond probably better than anybody in that situation. What happened to him sucks. It really does. It happened to many of us, and you just have to unfortunately get over it, end quote. I got a rookie. Now, granted, an older rookie, but a rookie. Getting out in front of this, and everybody's beating the hell out of Alex Forsyth. Look, dude, he missed a block. When you want to break the tape, is it on Will Lutz? Not really. Dude, let his guy get in. It's on him. Sometimes you screw up, and sometimes you screw up in front of the whole nation, right? And this was one of those. This isn't like a block kick in a Carolina-Jacksonville game. This was in the Chiefs game that would have been their first loss of the season and the first loss in almost a calendar year. So he screwed up. I love the way your guy's taking charge up there, dude.
Bo Nix has been so much better than expected. And it goes back to that conversation, right? Like, sometimes let it play out. Yep. Don't be paralyzed by preseason thoughts. I think Sean Payton has done something that we haven't seen. And that was one of my things is, all right, I want to wait and see Sean Payton with a young quarterback. Because he's a quarterback guru. He's a big offensive guy, but he's never really had to develop a quarterback in the NFL. So this was a wait-and-see approach. And this is a Broncos team that does lack explosiveness. And yet, Bo Nix has been efficient. He's been good. He was excellent on the road in a very tough environment against a very good defense against Kansas City. Then you see his leadership taking over. I think that's why Sean Payton, yes, they were picking behind these other teams, but didn't feel the need to jump up or go chase one of these other guys because the experience and ability to work with Bo Nix, it's all coming together.
I'm not ready to throw Caleb Williams out yet, and I've got a few game sample size. Is there a chance Bo Nix ends up being a better pro than Caleb Williams?
Yes, there's a chance he's better than Jaden Daniels. There's a chance he's better than Drake May. When it's all said and done, absolutely. But coming back to our conversation, what's going on in Chicago? You thought you were set up much better. It was there. But you have a rookie quarterback that's struggling. By no means does that mean that Caleb Williams can't do it. Can't learn to take the next step. Can't learn different things in the NFL just because of this rough patch right now.
And then we get this. Chiefs, Bills, Saturday. Just another game? Hardly. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows.
Men's basketball got a couple of guards for next year. Jalen Petty, a 4-star, 6-foot guard out of Seattle's Rainier Beach High School. Isaac Williamson played for the Compton Magic out of the Inland Empire, places that got you, I don't know, guys like Kendall Williams. Talk to Richard Pitino coming up at 9 o'clock this morning. Lobos and St. John's coming up on Sunday morning. How about Bella Hines, by the way? This is such a cool story. And if you've not seen her, you get to watch her this year as a senior. Bella Hines, the El Dorado High School star basketball player, and I mean star basketball player, who yesterday signed officially her letter of intent to play at LSU. Also has signed an NIL deal. And she is, according to her agent, the only active high school player in the country, boy or girl, to have signed an NIL deal with the Jordan brand, the Jumpman. That's a huge deal. It didn't say how much she's making.
Gigantic.
Yeah, right. But she'll get apparel and she'll get packages every year, and she will get paid. But this is a big deal, man. That's special. Like that is special. People are like, how'd she get away? How did Bradbury let her get? Stop it. He recruited her. He tried.
Yeah, that's just another level. We'll talk in national championship going to LSU.
I mean, in some respects, and there's a lot of pressure on her. They're thinking, well, she's the next Angel Reese. I don't know if she is that or not. She's going to a place where there's a lot of really good players. She'll play for Kim Mulkey, who I think is the second highest profile women's basketball coach in America, correct? Next to Gino Auriemma. I mean, can you name me? You know, you can. Can the guy?
Don Staley.
All right, Don Staley.
Legend.
Yeah. All right, those three.
Hooper, coach.
Yeah, those three. But yeah, what a signing day, man. That was really, really cool. All right, 505-246-0610. So Sunday, Bills and Chiefs. Fifth time that these two teams, or teams with at least 8 wins, play in Week 11 in the history of the game. Josh Allen isn't reading too much into it. Quote, Josh Allen, Bills quarterback. It's a Week 11 game. It's no bigger and no less than the last 10 games that we've had. I know the media perception and the fan perception of what this game means. But for us, it's just week 11 for us, end quote. Just another game. Come on now. Right? Knowing that you can get by. And look, the Bills have had success against the Chiefs in the regular season. It's the playoffs where they've not. Right?
Yeah, and it's one where that's not going to decide what happens in the postseason. But you hand Kansas City their first loss. Chiefs, they trip up a couple times, and all of a sudden, at least you
have the tiebreaker.
Looking at, hey, we could be hosting this team in the playoffs again.
Yeah, like you did last year. Look, Josh Allen at times, there was, 3 years ago in Kansas City, where he thought he won the game, where he had the game-winning drive in the playoffs in Kansas City, went down the field, and they scored a touchdown with 13 seconds to go. I mean, I'm going to tell you, 999 times out of 10,000, or whatever the next number is. Like, right? You win the game. Patrick Mahomes marched his team down. They kicked a field goal, won the coin toss, and Josh Allen never got back on the field. And I think the narrative on Josh Allen with the Josh Allen haters would be so completely different if they had won that game. And he did everything he could to win that game. He led a drive, scored with 13 seconds to go, never got back on the field. But I firmly believe the narrative, and Lord knows where they would have gone. Would they have won the Super Bowl? I don't know the answer, but they'd have got by Patrick Mahomes. And now the narrative was what the narrative is. You've got the haters out there that saying he can't win and he can't do this and he can't do that. Outside of, are you taking Lamar? If you're starting a franchise, you can tell me Lamar over Patrick Mahomes if you want. You want one quarterback, it's Mahomes, right?
Yes.
All right. Who's the next guy you want? Is it Allen or is it Lamar? Because it's one of those two.
This is actually, I don't have an immediate reaction to who number 2 is. I think I would be leaning Lamar or Joe.
So you like Joe Burrow over Josh Allen? Okay. All right. I love the maturity and the growth in what Josh Allen has become. I might go that way. But I understand. I mean, again, I don't know that there's necessarily a wrong answer here. All right, 505-246-0610. Let's do this before we hit the break. Jerry Palm's going to be with us from CBS Sports here at the bottom of the hour. Hey, Ray, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. What's up, Ray?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good. What's up?
Hey, let's not forget about another great game, the Steelers and the Ravens.
Yeah, no, we just talked about that, the segment before that. Yeah, that's a big one.
Oh, well, Russell Wilson is showing people he's still got a lot of gas left in the tank.
No doubt.
And Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson, so we'll see where it goes.
Yep. No.
It's going to be another barn burner.
Lamar Jackson 1-3 against the Steelers. Appreciate you, Ray. Thanks for the call. Yeah, we were just talking about that, and why is it? He says, I don't know. I really don't have an explanation. And maybe there's some Mike Tomlin in there too. You know, I got a good friend who's a Steeler fan. Stop saying Mike Tomlin's a good coach. If you say Mike Tomlin's a really good coach, again, I'm coming after you. I mean,
Mike Tomlin's a good coach.
You said it, not me. I mean, is this his best job this year?
I don't see. If you could look at Mike Tomlin and feel he's bad, you can be frustrated that their down years are just one game above 500 and they're not winning Super Bowl championships. But this team is always competitive. They're always playing hard.
Yeah.
And even if it was a gut intuition, and Mike Tomlin's kind of said that it was him and no one else going to Russell Wilson.
It's worked.
The moon ball is working so far.
It's worked. All right, when we come back, Jerry Palm's going to be with us. He of CBS Sports. You get to watch his team on national TV again, by the way, right in the middle of the day on CBS. One of you has asked why. We're going to catch up on college football, the latest on the college football playoff standings, and where it goes, what do we got to watch this weekend? It's the opening drive. Jerry Palm's next on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Sunday morning over on News Radio KKOB, 9:30 pregame, 10 a.m. tip. Lobos at 22nd ranked St. John's at Madison Square Garden. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. We'll get back to your phone calls coming up in a little bit. It is our privilege this time each week to catch up with our good friend who you read every day over at CBS Sports. He is Jerry Palm. Good morning, Jerry. How you living?
I'm all right. How are you?
You know how it gets. Mid-November, getting a little busier, a little tighter. You can appreciate that. What did you think when the standings came out? It's kind of interesting to see Georgia on the outside and SMU. And I told people, everybody complained. No, who's number 4? Who's number 5 when it was only a 4 team? You're going to have the same thing when it's a 12-team deal. You have the same thing at 68. People, whoever's the last couple out are going to complain.
Yeah, exactly. When you get to 68, though, that tournament, the people left out have only themselves to blame. Mm-hmm. Those are teams that are probably not going anywhere anyway. We have just had a couple of pretty rare occasions where somebody goes first four to Final Four, but that's
very rare.
Most of those teams are not lasting past the first round. Yeah. Georgia. First of all, most of the brackets that you have seen have been wrong because if the season had ended this week and we were putting together a bracket with today's rankings, SMU is the ACC champ. And nobody had SMU in their bracket. And that's a much more interesting bracket, by the way.
Yeah, and I've been screaming that on the SMU thing. Miami gets beat over the weekend, and SMU's sitting right there, and nobody's talking about SMU.
Nope. Well, I did. Okay. We did a segment on HQ, and I gave them a bracket, and it had SMU in it. And that is a much more interesting discussion because SMU was 14th, which puts Boise in a bye as the number 13 team, the number 4 seed, because SMU is now the 5th ranked conference champion. And who was it? Ole Miss at the bottom of the
it'd be Ole Miss.
Knocked out.
Yeah. So, do you think if SMU wins the ACC, would they? And this is all speculation. Would the committee jump them over Mountain West champion Boise State?
Almost certainly.
I think so too.
Because it probably means beating Miami to do so.
Yeah.
My expectation is that Boise State, if they finish their deal and win the Mountain West, is that they will be the 5th rated conference champion. And the one possible exception to that would be if Colorado steps up and wins the Big 12 with 2 losses, despite beating BYU. They may still be behind Boise, maybe, but I don't know. But that to me is the best case scenario for Boise to get a bye, is Colorado winning the Big 12.
Jerry Palm's with us. You read him over on CBSSports.com every day.
Now, Jerry, you just laid out the scenario there with SMU involved. What do you make of the remaining path for who you think is going to be matching up, like Clemson at Pittsburgh this weekend? What do you see kind of playing out just this weekend?
Yeah, Pittsburgh, got off to that great start. Who was it they destroyed on right before they played SMU? Just laid waste to somebody. Drawn a blank. But, Syracuse. They had 3 interception returns for touchdowns in that game, and then kind of laid an egg at SMU, and then lost again last week. Was it to Virginia?
It was Virginia,
at home?
Yeah, 24.
Yeah, so now, Clemson's a different animal. So, Pitt's going to have to be ready for this. They're going to have to play well, like Syracuse well. The defense doesn't have to score 3 times, but they're going to have to play at that level if they're going to beat Clemson. I'm not very optimistic for them this week. It looks like they have gone back to being more what we expected of them, despite the great start.
No, and you mentioned the Big 12 in there, and my goodness, BYU got a little help, but found a way to win last week, and now you got Utah at Colorado. What do you make of CU right now and then that game against Utah?
Well, I mean, it's a big rivalry game, and Utah has been losing, but they haven't been getting their doors blown off. They've been competitive, just not good enough to win, and that was the case again this week. One of these days they're going to break through. Their defense keeps them in games, and it just hasn't been quite enough yet. But I think that Utah's going to get somebody at some point here. I don't know about this week, but BYU and Colorado appear to be, on a collision course now for the Big 12, and I just think that that's a really interesting game if it comes about, because the two best players on the field will probably be Colorado, and then we'll see what happens with the rest of it. But BYU's having a tremendous season out of nowhere. Yeah. I mean, nobody picked them higher than 13th, I think, for the Big 12 this year, and they may end up winning the league and certainly have a good chance to win the regular season title. And it's just their coach needs to be up for National Coach of the Year.
Kalani Sitake's done a great job.
I knew I had Kalani in my head, but couldn't come up with the last name.
Yeah. And I know, when SMU and BYU get in there, I mean, you'll preview that as I guess 2 years ago in that New Mexico Bowl game that was a classic that went down to the last 8 seconds. I mean, that's what we're all right. Of course we are.
Yep.
Hey,
and now they may both win major conferences.
Seriously, if it's BYU Colorado, is it an elimination game or is it just an elimination game for Colorado?
It's definitely an elimination game for Colorado. They're not getting in with 3 losses, even with a third loss in the conference championship game. I'm not so sure about BYU. They've still had a good season. They played a good schedule. They handed SMU what is their only loss so far.
Yeah.
They beat Kansas State. I don't know that BYU is necessarily out. It may depend on what happens with some of these other SEC teams because, the committee probably doesn't have as much faith in BYU as it would
Georgia,
one of these other SEC teams, especially if you're eye testing, which there is some of that, more of that in this process than in the basketball process. So that's why Indiana is ahead of BYU. It's because they look good when they play, and you've got 2/3 of this committee is former players and coaches, and they spend a lot of time watching film. Yeah. So, of these teams, or at least they did in advance of the first one. So they've got a good idea what these teams can and can't do, and there's a more subjective part of this process, I think, because you have, football guys who have had an opportunity to really scout these teams and see what they feel about it.
CBS Sports' Jerry Palm is with us for a few more minutes on the Sports Animal. Tennessee and Georgia this week, and probably an elimination game for Georgia. What about Tennessee?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And, for Tennessee, if they don't win, now they've got a loss to Arkansas, they got a loss to Georgia. They're probably behind Georgia in the rankings. They may even be behind Alabama in the rankings. But now you've got a circle, right, where those 3 teams will have a 1-1 against each other. So now head-to-head doesn't matter anymore. And Alabama's schedule and Georgia's schedule are 2 of the 5 best schedules in college football. So, they're going to be the teams in the catbird seat, and Tennessee and maybe even Ole Miss. Ole Miss could be in there at some level, but they would have only played, I think, Georgia among those teams. So, that race is so compelling. Last week I was doing projections for that, so I predict every game, and then I go through and, figure out who's going to play for a championship. And I had Texas at 1 loss in the SEC and 6 2-loss teams in conference play. And it came down to the record of your conference opponents in conference games, and Alabama barely eked out a tiebreaker. But it could be any of them.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is that it could be just some random thing that puts someone in a conference championship game this year. And the real shame of it is it's because of these massive leagues and the disparate schedules and not a lot of interplay among these teams.
Hey, Jerry, the team that's 18th in the CFP rankings, Washington State comes to Albuquerque this weekend. What do you make of just the Cougars and what they're doing this year?
I think they're having a great year. Other than the performance against Boise State, and if they had played that game better, we might be talking about them as a potential at-large team. I think it would still be tough for them. I don't think they have enough of a schedule. But when Boise blows their doors off, it really limits their ceiling. But otherwise, a terrific season under trying circumstances for Washington State. And, I think 11-1 is probable for them. And, we'll see what happens this week. But and that's maybe an Alamo Bowl because they get, they're in the Pac-12 bowl rotation. Right. So, that could be the Alamo Bowl or Las Vegas or, a pretty good game. So there's a reward for them at the end of a good season, even if it's not the college football playoff.
Yeah. All right. Make sense of Indiana. You're close to this situation. I mean, we're all sitting around going, all right, how good are they? They're 10-0, but who have they beaten? They get a week off. They get Ohio State next week. And you go down it and you're like, I mean, every week, okay, so they beat Michigan. Yeah, but Michigan's down. Yeah, they beat Washington, but Washington's down. How good is Indiana?
Good question. And so, it's funny because they're ahead of BYU. BYU has played a better schedule and they have better wins. So from if you were going to do a basketball resume, it's not even close. Yeah. Indiana has played the worst schedule of any major conference team, and probably also not close.
But they're number 5.
So,
But they're 5th in the CFP ranking.
But they're 5th because they blew everybody out. So, in basketball brackets, that doesn't make much of a difference. In football brackets, it does. That's how you can overcome a bad schedule, by laying waste to it. And, Indiana's schedule is largely out of their control. I mean, 75% of it is whatever the league gives you and then whatever those teams do. So they get the 2 teams from last year's championship game, and neither one of them is bowl eligible yet. In fact, nobody that Indiana has played so far is bowl eligible yet. Their schedule is so soft that they gave them a bye week before the one good game they play.
That's crazy.
Well, it's remarkable. And it's nothing they can do about it. You just go out. You have to go out and play who you play, and they've only been in one competitive game, which was this week with Michigan, and I think so far. So here's my opinion: is so far so good. Let's see what you do with Ohio State.
Yeah, I was kind of making that point on Washington State earlier today. They went out. You think you schedule? They play the Apple Cup against a team who was in a national championship game last year. They beat Texas Tech, who is what are they? They're 6-4. That's an okay
Not
win.
Bad.
Right, but because they got blued out by Boise is really that's the issue, right? If they were competitive in that game, you see them just knocking on the door, right?
Yeah, they'd be more a part of the conversation. I think in the end, their schedule still holds them back, but overall, but I think that's a team that's getting a little more talk if that Boise State game is competitive.
Yeah. All right, you can follow them on the Twitter. You got another one? Or are you good? All right, follow him on the Twitter. I was looking at JJ.
Sorry.
Yeah, you got one for us? You got anything for us?
No, it's your show, man.
You can get his bowl projections. It's all there at CBSSports.com. Follow him on the Twitter or the X. It's at JP Palm CBS, and he'll be back with us next Thursday, 8:30 Mountain Time, right here on the Sports Animal. Jerry, always appreciate the conversation. Have a great weekend.
Sure. Thanks. You
do
too.
well. Jerry's good stuff, man. He's good. The Washington State conversation is interesting. Indiana, he's like, yeah, I don't know either. And he lives in Indiana. And it's big talk. Indiana is the biggest mystery. And his point on Indiana being higher than BYU is really fair. They're both undefeated, but because Indiana's been beating the hell out of people. And it's one slot. But why are they number 5 and BYU's number 6? But it doesn't matter because if BYU wins out, they get the bye and Indiana probably doesn't. So 505-246-0610. Richard Pitino scheduled to be with us coming up in 16 minutes at 9 a.m. on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Meyer here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Adventure is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it. You make my heart better.
Show this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, So I'm proud to support your local athletes.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop.
I am Michael Ojera, midfielder for New Mexico United. Clark's support for the United is an example of their commitment to local partnerships. Clark's understands that paying it forward develops a better team and ultimately better community partner.
When you need pet food and supplies,
Clark's is always the best shot.
Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations.
Go United!
ClarksPets.com.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, brah. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
AM 610, the sports animal.
Palooka. That is your sports animal audible word of the day when you hear Boys in the Afternoon on the 2 Men On. Ask for what is the audible, call in, you'll tell them the words Palooka, you'll win a prize. It's the opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. Appreciate our friend Jerry Poem jumping on with us. 505-246-0610. We're going to get with, we're going to talk with Richard Pitino coming up in just a few minutes. Lobos at St. John's this weekend. Text line 505-246-0610. We talked some NBA. We talked some Steelers. I told you I got a buddy who says, stop telling me that Mike Tomlin's such a great coach. Edward texted and said 12 years, and he hasn't won a playoff game. And here, Mike Tomlin's had exceptionally talented teams and first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback. Hadn't won a playoff game in 12 years. This one says, lifelong Steelers fan here, my complaint against Tomlin. There have been years where he's done less with more talent than almost any coach with his type of tenure. Arguably, he has wasted 3 Super Bowl teams by getting bounced in the first or second round. It's also a celebration to him that he's never had a losing season. I don't think 8-8 season is anything to celebrate, but somehow that has become the new Steelers Super Bowl, and I find that pathetic. Okay. Yeah, Steeler fan isn't as in love with Mike Tomlin as other fans seems to be.
They have not had a tremendous amount of talent the last few years offensively.
The last couple of years, but I mean, they're talking when Roethlisberger was still there.
Okay, you won one Super Bowl, and a lot of teams have won one Super Bowl. We're talking about an era with Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
How many of those guys won combined?
10, I believe. Is that right? Is that the answer? I believe that's the answer, right?
And then everyone's like, well, you haven't won 2, 3. It's Tom Brady and Mahomes, y'all. They're skewing a lot of things for a lot of people in that league.
All right, when we come back, global basketball. They will play St. John's this weekend in Madison Square Garden. You might have heard about it. When we come back, we'll talk with their head coach, Richard Pitino. His dad is the coach of St. John's. A lot being made of that. He won't. I promise you right now. He already told me on Friday last week. Yep. I don't get into that stuff. But they'll hold a joint press conference tomorrow. Richard Pitino next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated,
ripped,
plastered, taint, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
What's going on?
Who are you guys?
Well, sir, I'm going to pick you up at the DWI checkpoint for drunk driving.
And that's when I have to come down to get you out of jail.
Well, temporarily. I'm Judge Torres. They call him the Hammer.
Hey, hot off the presses, champ.
I'm real proud of you, honey.
Way to make them happy back home, Captain.
Who's that?
That's your new buddy in jail.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
It's the OD in the AM with three-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta, and JJ Buck.
Another big weekend coming up for Lobo Sports. Lobo football, of course, on Saturday out at University Stadium against Washington State. Lobo basketball will be in Madison Square Garden on Sunday morning, 10 o'clock tip local time here. 9:30 pregame show over on News Radio KKOB with Robert Portnoy and Hunter Green. New Mexico and 22nd ranked St. John's. Lobos, of course, off to a 3-0 start. The Red Storm, 3-0 as well, beating Fordham, Quinnipiac, and Wagner, and beating those teams handily. They're winning by an average margin of 25.3 points per game. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. Get back to your phone calls coming up in a little bit. We're joined now by the head basketball coach at the University of New Mexico. Richard Pitino joins us on the Sports Animal. Good morning, Richard. How you living?
Doing good. Doing good. Excited for the trip here this weekend.
Yeah, I want to look back real quick and then look ahead. I was really impressed with your game on Tuesday night. And I thought if there was going to be a trap game, that might be it. Coming off of the ranked game against UCLA, the big trip that everybody wants to talk about, if there was a spot for a letdown, and there wasn't. And I thought that really showed maturity from your team. Probably it was being preached quite a bit, but whatever it was said, they heard and they executed.
It was being preached a lot,
yeah.
You know. I mean, the beauty of this place is that people really do care about college basketball. And they certainly care about college football, and they care about all the Lobo sports. But, you know, when it's good, it's really good around here. And that can sometimes be detrimental to a team, not to knock our fans by any means, but that love and that attention that they do get can sometimes divert their attention from what really is the most important thing. And I constantly tell the guys all the time, like, we will decide if this season is a success or a failure March 16th. That's Selection Sunday. So we've got so much time to go to celebrate and think we've arrived. So I thought they responded really maturely and understood, like, UCLA is over with. St. John's is not in front of us. Let's handle Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
Yeah, and you did, and it was a 100-81 win. Now you got the St. John's trip, and the guys were talking about it. When I was with you last week, you know, there were whispers about it, and the opportunities. UCLA on the chest, St. John's on the chest means something. The guys inside those shirts, though, are really, really good with St. John's.
Yeah, really talented. You know, always going to play really hard, competitive, physical. I look at them almost like a little more older version of UCLA. You know, I think UCLA is very, very talented, but they have a lot of new faces, and you can tell that Mick is trying to get them there, and they're not quite there just yet, where St. John's has got a couple more returners. You know, they got a lot of new guys as well, but it's going to be certainly a huge challenge physically for us. I was lucky to, when I went to the Yankee game, I popped by their facility because we were going to the Yankee game from there, and just to see their personnel. Like, I wasn't scouting or anything, but they're big and strong and physical.
You know, Coach, if you look at the game against Corpus Christi as well, it's an opportunity, the way it played out for your bench guys to get a lot of minutes. And what did you see from them? And when the opportunity arises, and kind of what does that teach a player to be ready for the moment?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for guys who don't play a lot, right? I mean, I think we all understand that, and we're all, you know, empathetic towards them. But you got to be ready. I mean, everybody is running a different race. And if we don't play, it doesn't mean we don't like you. So we have been able to, I believe, in the last three games, play everybody in the first half, which has helped. Obviously, Atiki was ready to go. Cade was really ready to go, did some good things. Braden knocked down a three. You know, so we're going to need our bench. And those guys have got to be ready. I thought Cade was a really big bright spot there to knock down some shots. And Atiki, obviously, blocking 5 shots was terrific as well.
What do you look for, just even on a daily basis, from players to show that they know what it takes, that they know what they need to do to be prepared at this level?
Consistency. It's not, there's no one shooting drill, defense drill, motivational speech. It's just coming, and actually, it sounds silly, but come to practice to get better, individually and collectively, every single day. Trust that the coaches will not overwork you and overextend you to where you're not fresh for those 30-something opportunities, but come in here and be businesslike. I mean, nobody was better than Jamal Mashburn Jr. at that. Every single day, he was going to stretch with a purpose. He was going to go through a shooting drill with a purpose, ball handling, et cetera. So that's the thing, maturity-wise, that college players don't quite understand, is just working on your craft every single day. Like, just because the coaches are here doesn't mean you can't get better. See, sometimes they want to be by themselves with music playing, working on their game, and I'm like, do it right now. So it's just being consistent with your approach and your habits every day is the thing that they have to learn.
And Jamal's off to a terrific start at Temple. He's Richard Pitino, Lobo men's basketball coach. Lobo's in St. John's on Sunday in New York City. You told me last week, like, you don't get into this whole, last week you were up against a dear friend in Mick Cronin. Obviously, your dad is the coach at St. John's. But everybody else is making a big deal of it. You've got a joint press conference tomorrow. How do you feed that beast, but yet kind of keep it where you need it to be with all the outside noise for this particular game?
Yeah, it's a good question. For one, I try not to be disrespectful to media members who ask really, really obvious questions and think it's the first time I've heard them. But I try to be respectful. I think at the end of the day, like, why do I play this game? Well, for one, it is an opportunity, like, to go get a quality win. Had to do it. Wanted to do it for my players because none of them have played in Madison Square Garden. Nelly might have, but I'm not sure if he has. Not a lot of them been in New York City. So the student-athlete experience is amazing. I was told we're going to have close to 500 fans flying up from Albuquerque. Yeah. So just the exposure that it brings for our program is worth kind of the, I don't want to call it nonsense, but, like, I'm not into all the father-son stuff. Like, I don't love attention and all that. So, but I do think it is worth it because it does bring attention to our program. And, I just think it is good for college basketball. I mean, the non-conference is very, very tricky. People are still focused on football at a lot of places. So if it is a, cute little storyline, then I'm all for it, and I'll certainly play into it as best I can.
Yeah, but yet still do what you got to do. I thought beating UCLA, and there's games. You talk about the non-conference. UCLA, this game, the VCU game, certainly, gosh, they looked good against Boston College last week. And then the Palm Spring games. There's like 5, maybe 6 games that really pop. And I don't know if the word's cushion. Beating UCLA was so important because, I think it gave your guys, and again, I had the perspective being with you last week, that the confidence from the players, I thought, gave them this confidence that we belong and a little bit of a cushion. Because you mentioned to me in the pregame show last week, it does no good if we lose all these games. And it never entered my mind that you would lose all these games, right? But it gives you a cushion. All right, we've won this first one. And now we're over the hump might not be it, but certainly have the confidence. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think at the end of the day, like, as we evolve into whatever this conference is going to look like in 2 years, it's going to be manageable regardless. You're just going to have to be very, very aggressive in the non-conference if you're not going to have as many bids as 6 or 4 like we've had here. So it just comes down to your schedule is how many quality opportunities do you have? You got to win some of them, right? Like, you're not going to get anywhere if you have all these good opportunities and you don't win any of them. But it's just obvious that the more opportunities you get, you're going to have more chances. So to beat a UCLA, I mean, that's one of the best brands in all of college basketball. That's a team that expects national championships. And to go do that in your second game, it has to give our guys confidence and belief that we can reference back. And not only did we win, but the intensity that we played with, the defense that we played with, like, that's got to be motivation. And it's going to be able to, for us, we'll always be able to reference back to what we looked like. Yeah, so to be able to do that early in the season certainly is great. But more than anything, you try to make it not bigger than it is.
Right.
It's just, it was an opportunity. We took advantage of it. Now we got another one on Sunday.
And it was convincing. He's Richard Pitino, Lobo men's basketball coach, with us just for a few more minutes here on the Sports Animal.
Well, Coach, I have one of those random out of nowhere media questions for you. I saw it pop up on my feed.
Not going to be creative, JJ, but I'm going to answer.
Okay,
I like
but
it.
I know you're a pro and you play this game, but just in terms of, like, learning moments as a coach, the game when you Minnesota and Alabama are playing, Alabama's entire bench gets ejected, so they play with 3 players the final 10 minutes of the game. What was that experience like? And I guess, is it just you look at your bench and say, hey, guys, just don't rush the court if something happens?
Wow, what a random question to ask before we're playing St. John's. It was in New York, so I guess that's where you can come back to that. I don't think there was any learning experiences from that game. That was the most bizarre thing. I don't think it'll ever happen again. It was really amazing because it was 2 top 25 teams. I think it was the year we were a 5 seed in the NCAA tournament. Like, we were really, really good that year. And it was Nate Mason, who was my first team all-conference point guard, versus Colin Sexton, who obviously is a max player in the NBA. And we were playing great. All of a sudden, this fight breaks out. I'll tell you the lesson I learned, honestly, JJ, was it was so weird in the building because it was 5-3, 5 versus 3, and I was trying to be classy and not run the score up. And what I should have done is just put my foot on the gas, and just because I never thought in a million years Colin Sexton would be hitting shots over 2 guys, this and that. So if there is a lesson that I learned, it's 1, make sure you don't rush the bench or rush the court, and then 2, if that ever were to happen again, I'm going to make sure that – now, we did win by double digits. I know it was a cute story, but we did win by double digits. But maybe just if that ever does happen again, really, really put your foot on the gas.
That's so good. Hey, what is St. John's? I look at them, and it's going to get tougher for them. They got you, Baylor, Georgia, Kansas State coming up. But they're winning by 25 points a game. Is it pace with your dad's team? I mean, Luis is really good. Devin Smith is really good. Like what are they style-wise, and how does that look like you?
Yeah, Kadari Richmond was the top player out of the portal. He is a potential NBA player. He's like a Donovan Dent, but bigger. He really's got a great feel for the game, terrific passer. RJ Luis is a 3-4. We'll get a look at the NBA. Davion Smith was a jet quick point guard they got out of the portal out of Utah. They're just big and strong and physical. And, if we turn the ball over, we give them those pick sixes. Like, we cannot allow that. They're going to maul you on the glass. My dad, obviously I coached under him for 3 years. Like, it's not like you're going to take this amazing out-of-bounds play. Not that he can't actually know, of course he can, but it's just a relentlessness of every little thing that they do over 40 minutes that's going to be very, very challenging for us to handle. So they just keep chopping wood and going at you in a variety of ways.
Does the rest of your family like when you play your dad? What do they do? Who do they root for? They just want it to be over.
They don't care. They're looking for like the next cocktail or the next beer at a game. Yeah. Like, they're not. It's not as agonizing as everybody thinks it is. Like, they're like, whatever. And it's not really as like, if we were to beat St. John's, like, what would that mean? Would that mean that I'm going to catapult my career to the Naismith Hall of Fame? Like, our careers are so very, very different. So I don't think they care at all. I think they are, they get to go to New York City. Like, 2 of my brothers aren't even going. My sister's going to come up from Florida. So it's really not as big of a deal in the family as everybody thinks.
Have them come out and enjoy a holiday in New Mexico, right? Like Bizcochitos and Pozole and Christmas out here in the sunset. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Safe travels. Always appreciate the conversation. Good luck against St. John. We'll catch up with you soon.
All right. You got it. Thanks.
Be well. Thank you. Richard Pitino. It's a crazy question you asked. I was going to run the Air Force thing by the Pilipovich told me the other day. I don't even know if I told you this. The Auburn thing, right?
There's another one.
Auburn the other day, as we're getting on the bus to go to the arena in Vegas for the UCLA game, the story broke that Auburn's plane had turned around because there was a fight on the plane. Players were fighting, and the pilot turned the plane around, said, bleep it, we're not going, I'm taking it back to Auburn. And so I was getting on the plane, asked, Dave Pilipovich was sitting there, the former Air Force coach, who was now on the Lobo staff. I said, what would you have done? And he didn't hear it. I told him, he says, probably would have, given the guy a parachute, thrown him out the plane, and have one of our players fly the plane. Right?
Yeah, it was just so random. It was came up, Colin Sexton, I think, like last week, had a jump ball with the center on Chicago and was just really feisty. And somehow were like, remember Colin Sexton's that guy. He played 3-on-5 in college. And they showed a clip of the game. It was like, that's Minnesota. Oh, that's Richard Pitino. And it was like 12 minutes into that game.
Yeah. And so it was a good one. You caught him off guard there. It's not going to be creative, JJ. All right, you can respond to that. Lobos and St. John's. What did you hear from Richard that you want to get in on? 505. I got a few things for you. 505-243-0. What is it? 505-246-0610. 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery.
One out, they lose. It's to this, it's to that. All right, so here they are with a ranked team coming in and an opportunity to win out and go to a bowl game. Is that enough for you to be intrigued? They're entertaining. They score points. They've gotten better. Or are you still not there? Or is it going to be too cold or too Saturday or too late or too whatever? Just curious. Again, I'm not preaching at you. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just curious. Are you over the hump? 505-246-0610. We talked about Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce's homes being broken into. This says, okay, please explain to me how multi-billionaire star celebrities like Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce don't already have the ultimate Fort Knox security on steroids from hell protecting both their mansions. Besides, isn't Missouri a red state with no crime? Again, man, there's crime everywhere. Everybody, it's only in Albuquerque. Not really. We talked about the process earlier. Steve from Michigan says, talk about the trust in the process. I wonder if Joel Embiid is trusting the process. What's the deal with the AD search? Any updates? I understand that they were doing interviews this week on the athletic director job over at the University of New Mexico. I think they're targeting like early to mid-December to try to have something done over there. I mean, they got to have somebody in place by the time session starts, right? To go up and try to get some money, which is early, January. So yeah, from what I understand, they've got interviews going on this week. Maurice on the email, am I the only one in town that doesn't give a rat's ass about Dickie P versus Ricky P on Sunday, Jeff? Yeah, you might be. No, you might be. You know anybody else who doesn't care?
Are you a Lobo fan? You probably care about that game. If you're not a Lobo fan, then I understand. You're probably just sitting down, warming up the couch for Red Zone.
Yeah. You could split screen it, too. Lobo Hobo says, the Washington State fans I'm talking to, Jeff, you think this is a chance for the Cougs to rack up style points? I know they are. Talked to a good buddy of mine last night up in Washington. He was at the game last week in Pullman. Big Coug. Yeah, he thinks it's a rack up style points game. What is this one? 505-246-0610. Lobo Hobo says, how's the current announcer going to call both games, Jeffrey? It's going to be almost midnight before the little football signs off. And MSG isn't University Arena. It's not right down the street. He's not going to call both games. Tony, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Tony.
Hey, how you doing today?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Hey, I'm so excited about Lobo football. I got tickets for 5 people to go with me.
That's so cool. I love that.
And I'm just excited. Yeah. Win, lose, or on Saturday, I just think it's a great place to be Saturday evening watching our Lobos have the opportunity to win a game.
I think that's right. You got a ranked team coming in and a team that's competitive and a team that's fun and a team that's getting better, and they got an opportunity to still do some things. I think that's, from where I sit, I'll be there too. But like I said, I'm not going to preach, but I think there's more and more people that are starting to feel like you. Yeah, it's cool. Have you been to any games this year, Tony?
What now?
Have you been to any games this year?
2.
All right, so you're in on it. Good.
Yeah, but I've talked to my 2 grandsons and my 3 nephews to go with me.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, enjoy it out there. That's great family time. Thanks, Tony. Appreciate you. Have fun out there. See? Some people are going to go. All right. It'll be interesting to see what it looks like. Busy times are upon us. Families coming in town for Thanksgiving. Make sure your car looks clean. Make sure it's fresh. Make sure you get that brand new feel to it. Take care of it. It's one of your biggest investments. How do you do that? I recommend my friends over at On the Spot Automotive Detailing, awarded best in the city because they are best in the city. They take the time and the care to make your car look and feel and smell like new. It's detailing, just like the automobile dealers do it. Remember the day you took it off your lot or off the lot? How great it felt, smelt. It was fun to be in it. Remember, smelt? Is that a word? Smelt? Smelled? Best part is that they come to you. Where it works for you, when it works for you. You don't take your car somewhere. They will come to your parking lot, your driveway, wherever it's convenient for you. You need to leave the house or the office or wherever. You're busy. They'll come to you and make sure this works for you. When they're done, car looks and feels and smells brand new. It's a great gift as well. We're in that season now, gift-giving season. Call On the Spot Automotive Detailing today, or you can book and buy right there online. It's otsdetailing.com. That's otsdetailing.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as Red and Green.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
So yesterday was signing day around the country. You saw all the athletes and like Bella Hines officially signing with LSU, and then gosh, it was announced she got that sweet NIL deal with the Jordan Brand, the only high school athlete in the country to have that, the El Dorado basketball star. Opening drives, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. NIL's really good, JJ, but winning does still matter. We talked earlier in the show about the process and expectations and where you're expected to be when it starts, blah, blah, blah. Florida State was, I want to say, the 5th-ranked team in the country preseason. Florida State is 1-9. This is like just honestly stunning. They lost another recruit. In fact, 6 players who have committed have decommitted because all of a sudden they're in the tank. They lost a 4-star quarterback, Trammell Jones, decommitted this morning. The 6th departure from Mike Norvell's class this year because they're 1-9. He was the 9th-ranked dual-threat quarterback on ESPN's chart. Decommitted, and he was the longest tenured member of the class. He had said a long time ago. They've lost. Look, they were 13-1 last year, and everybody wanted to be there, right? And then now they're 1-9. They've lost top 300 prospects. Like NIL's good, but winning matters too. Because these guys all go get somewhere else and get paid. Somebody else is going to say, all right, come here, come to Florida, come to Georgia, come to wherever, right? But it matters. The recruiting game's crazy, man. It really is. It really is crazy. 505-246-0610 if you want to get in today. 888-922-0610. This one says on the text line, yes, I'm going to the Louisville football game. I'm excited to watch them beat Washington State, disrupt their season, and put UNM's bowl aspirations on the line against Hawaii. UNM's putting the vintage Lobo on their helmets, and this will bring them good luck and exorcise the curse Manuel swore was over University Stadium. All right. I'm not sure I know about the curse that's over UNM Stadium or University Stadium. But so that's another person who says, yeah, I'm going. This one says, we know Dampier is a bona fide cougar hunter, so WSU better watch out. Zach Wilson. Mike. I don't know, do we know that? Is Devin Dampier a cougar hunter? I don't know that I knew that. All right, you keep them coming. 505. I'm learning stuff. Every time I open up a text or an email, I'm just learning. Aren't you? Where's your sheet here? How did I lose your sheet, dude? There it is. 505-246-0610. NBA last night. LeBron James finished with a triple-double. 35 points, 14 and 12. Lakers win. Victor Wembanyama scored 50 in their win. Giannis scored 59 last night. What the hell was in the water last night? These come in bunches, don't they?
50 burgers.
It's kind of good to see Giannis. I mean, he outscored. Well, who were they playing? He outscored him in overtime.
You know, Dame dealing with all things concussion protocol. So it's kind of like, all right, Giannis, take over, try to get the Bucks back on track, climbing up that ladder, because they are definitely one of the most disappointing teams early in the season.
Yeah. They played the Pistons last night. He had 59 to Giannis. He outscored the Pistons in overtime. And he scored 22 of the team's first 24 points in the first quarter. I mean, dude just can take over the game. Is he going to end the season there? Or, he's leaving at some point, right? The Milwaukee thing's kind of feels like...
It won't be an in-season move.
But don't you get the feeling he's kind of getting to be done there?
Yeah, it's classic, man. It's the... You played good teammate, good city guy for a while, and then a couple years don't go your way, and you kind of start laying that foundation. Well, they went out and they brought in Dame Lillard. They've done a lot of what you're looking for if you're Giannis, but I just start thinking about the lights, the glitter, the flash of somewhere else, and that's where it feels like it could be trending. I don't think Giannis plays an entire career.
I don't either. All right, then there's this. Deion Sanders' name has been running around lately. Because whoever was on ESPN, I don't even remember who it was, said, yeah, he should go to the Cowboys because Deion's the only guy that Jerry will listen to. And so he should be the next coach of the Cowboys, and so it's gotten hot. Deion also has sons who are going into the NFL next year. And Deion's talked about, will he have a hand in it? He's got, and not just sons, he's got Travis Hunter, right? So with Shedeur and Travis Hunter, he's got two of the top NFL draft picks on his team. Shedor's the quarterback, and the two-way star is Travis Hunter. Both players expect to be top 5 picks in the draft. They might even be the top 2. I mean, if I was betting right now, I'd say they're the top 2. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, they are. I think Shedeur Sanders probably will be the first quarterback selected. Then Hunter is going probably no lower than 4 or 5. But I think a lot of that too is that value to him as a cornerback or wide receiver. It feels like he'll be a wide receiver at the next level because he's not going to play both ways in the NFL.
I mean, why?
At that point, you won't last. Like the NFL athletes, games, it's different, man. You can do that and run out there and be, a good enough cornerback and a good wide receiver in college. But
do you think he's a receiver or a DB?
You're not. I think he's a wide receiver.
I think he's a DB. I think he's terrific. DB is harder to find than receiver, right? I mean, honestly, who was harder to find, a good cover corner or a good receiver?
Yeah, but I don't know if he's a good cover corner.
If he's enough, yeah, fair enough. Deion was on FS1 yesterday. He was asked if he would step in if what's considered to be the wrong team would draft his son. Quote, yeah, but I'm not going to do it publicly. I'll do it privately. I'm going to be a dad until the cows come home, and with Travis as well, end quote. This has been done before. 20 years ago, Eli Manning said he wouldn't play for the Chargers. Remember, he was drafted, and him and his dad stepped in, and so they orchestrated that trade, and that was the Phillip Rivers and Eli trade, and got Phillip Rivers to San Diego at the time, and then Eli went to New York and had his career there. Manning made threats, and that he wouldn't play, that he'd sit out the entire season, all that. If Deion makes a similar threat, would that scare a team away from drafting Shedeur? So when it comes to possible, where's he going to go? Deion didn't name specific teams for his son, but he talked about what he wants. Quote, somebody that can handle the quarterback that he is. Somebody that can handle understanding what he's capable of. Someone that has had success in the past handling quarterbacks, or someone in an organization that understands what they're doing. Not just throwing you out there amongst the wolves if you don't have the support and the infrastructure of the team. He said, forget the line. He's played with lines that haven't been great, but he's been able to do his thing. But just the infrastructure of the team, the direction of where we're going, end quote.
Right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars that have number 1 overall pick.
They're not taking a quarterback.
But they would be fielding calls.
Yeah.
To see who wants to come up and get that quarterback.
Yep.
So number 2 is the New York Giants.
They're taking a quarterback.
Number 3 is Tennessee Titans.
They might take a quarterback. Yeah.
What's interesting is then you have Las Vegas Raiders. What kind of moves would they make? And that, so if Jacksonville, if a team like that, Jacksonville, even Cleveland, has number 1 overall pick.
Let me take
and
this.
Having that decision to make for the Browns. So if there's a team that isn't drafting quarterback that has the number 1 overall pick, that would be fascinating about what kind of pressure could this Sanders camp then put on team X to make a trade to number 1.
Do you put any credence into the talk that heated up this week, Deion to coach the Cowboys. I don't think it's that far-fetched. I really don't. I think it's right up Jerry's alley.
I don't think it's right up Jerry's alley at all.
High profile.
He's done opposite. When it comes to head coaching hires,
Yep.
it's opposite for Jerry Jones.
So-
it's nothing about head coaching hires has been high profile or anyone over the last.
Bill
going
Parcells
back
was
to
pretty
Bill
high
Parcells.
profile. Yeah.
And when was that?
That was a long time ago. So
Since then, he has not hired someone that would push back against him.
So it's interesting because his profile is high profile, if that makes sense. You're right, not necessarily with the past bunch of head coaches, but I mean, he loves the high profile players. He wanted Johnny Manziel, all that stuff. Is it time for him to maybe somebody that he trusts? I mean, do you believe that? I don't remember who said it. That Deion's the only guy that Jerry will listen to. Does he look at it and say, "Damn, we're 4-13. I got to be drastic"? And if so,
no, not at this point in his life.
Well, what he's been
this is
doing
who
hasn't
he
worked,
is.
and he's running out of time, dude.
And how long has he been doing that?
And how long's it worked?
Okay, and it hasn't changed yet. So why would this be the eye-opening year?
It hadn't been 4-13 in a minute. I mean, honestly, they're going to end up with 4,
Yeah,
5,
but
6 wins.
his excuse will be we're 4-13 because Dak Prescott got hurt.
You were crap before they went out. All right, let me just play with me for a second. Humor me. If Deion became the coach, he'd want Shador, wouldn't he? What do you do? I mean, how do you handle that? I know.
That and to me, like that scenario
Yeah.
is even more messy and not the Cowboys turning the corner. Because that's
Of course.
placating to Deion Sanders. That's placating to get his son at quarterback. That's the cap nightmare it would be for how many years. And then, like, okay, so you have Deion Sanders and Shador Sanders. How are then you building a roster around that? And you probably have to give up a couple first-round picks to move up to secure number 1 overall. Like, none of that would make me feel better as a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Yeah. All right, 505-246-0610. Come on in. We got one more segment. We'll get you ready for tonight. We got Monday night. We got Thursday Night Football tonight here on our air. Still time for you at 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh? I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom. Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom. Boom.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured.
Opening drive, Jeff Cimbietta and JJ Buck. Big game tonight right here on the Sports Animal. Kicks off your NFL week, Washington and Philadelphia. Eagles at home, 3.5-point favorites against the Washington Commanders. What else you got to know? Anthony Richardson is going to be the quarterback for the Colts this weekend. And I mean, nothing else really popped. Oh, yeah, you should know that LeBron James had another triple-double last night.
LeBron James.
That Victor Wembanyama scored 50 in the Spurs victory last night.
LeBron James.
That Giannis Antetokounmpo had 59 in the Bucks' overtime victory over the Pistons last night.
LeBron James.
And JJ kind of digs him some LeBron James. Richard Pitino was with us today. If you want to hear what Lobo coach had to say before the game against St. John's, they're going back to New York tomorrow. I think they're leaving tomorrow. They play Sunday morning in Madison Square Garden. Guys were fired up about it, man. It's like nobody wanted to talk about it, right, because they had UCLA. But, I mean, it's a big deal, man. Playing in that building, and so much has been made of that building, and so much history has been made in that building. You know who's really fired up is Lobo fan. I mean, I know you know people are going. It's amazing how many people have said to me, yeah, no, we're going. Are you going? Are you going? Are you going? Are you going?
This is what
we're
you
having
want.
dinner. Yeah.
If you have the opportunity to make this trip to get to MSG against another top 25 opponent, and the storylines are absolutely insane for the fans. Like the coaches and the teams have to do what they need to do in terms of the noise and the hype around it. But this is a great chance. And you look at Rutgers too. And we can dive more into it tomorrow. But I was looking at the 2025 NBA draft board. Now Ace Bailey hasn't played yet in the regular season, and Ace Bailey is on Rutgers, and he's the number 2 overall prospect. Dylan Harper's the number 3 overall prospect in the NBA draft.
It's good, right?
Harper's going to be playing, and you heard Coach Pitino talk about the point guard and Quadri Richmond, who's another top 100 NBA prospect, and you get that opportunity. And Lobos, their style, trying to be physical, play fast against St. John's, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch this game.
Is there a chance they are in awe? And I don't think so, because I think this team is really mature. But is there a chance the moment gets too big, the arena gets too big? I don't think so. Right? They played UCLA, but it was in a small 6,000 seat arena.
This is something you have to talk about. You can't hide from it. Like, all right, guys. Like when you go to that first shoot around, you're driving up. Like, if I'm Richard Pitino, I'm saying, all right, take this in,
get it out of it.
This is a special moment. This is a special place. The big time game. Wrap your head around it. Let's go to work.
And you pull the Hoosiers thing, you pull out the tape measure, and it's still the same. The rim's the same, and 15 feet. And
you got to spin it. Like, use the energy in a positive way.
I think that's right. Yeah, this will be interesting, man. This will be interesting. It's a big weekend for Lobo fan, and like I said, man, I think that this fan base is due for another good weekend. They had a really nice one last week. Beating San Diego State was nice. Beating Washington State would be even nicer. To win and it's so rare where Lobo football beats a ranked team. To beat a ranked team and keep your bowl hopes alive going into the final game of the season would be such a big deal for this team. Would be such a gigantic big deal, and for this fan base, I really believe. And a number of you said, "Yeah, no, I'm going. I want to see this team. I'm in. I'm buying in. Like I'm going." Text line: absolutely, Dallas should hire Deion Sanders as their next coach. The players would respect him. They'd listen to him, and if they could get his son as well, it would be a huge bonus. I'd give up draft picks, and I'd offer to eat part of the salary of Dak Prescott just to get rid of him. Real Cowboys fans know that Prescott should have never been signed, and this should have been a down year anyway to rebuild for the future. We all remember Jimmy Johnson went 1-15 his first year, and he made all kinds of changes, including trading Herschel Walker. But with Jerry Jones at the helm, probably none of this will happen. Okay.
I guess how are you rebuilding? All right, you have a young quarterback, but you're eating that much salary over the next couple of years.
What are you rebuilding around?
If you're going to have to use some picks to get said quarterback.
Yeah, because you're not getting up that high.
Dak is an overpaid quarterback because you can't. But that's the problem is if you are not willing to adjust and say, hey, you have to pay good quarterbacks good money. But the problem is good quarterbacks are getting great money, and these are the situations to get into.
I just don't see a way out of the Dak thing. I mean, as much as y'all would want Shador.
You can look at Denver, right? And say, all right, is that the path? But there's still a lot more money than what Denver ate at the end of that extension versus like they just gave it to Dak. Like that hasn't even kicked in yet.
Right. The big money's still to come. Yeah. All right, 505-246-0610, 8889-220-0610. Again, tomorrow we will have, you're basically looking at just a gigantic game weekend. We'll have the Eagles and Commanders to look back on, which is a big deal. Aggies play tonight. New Mexico State is at home. They get that Texas A&M Corpus Christi team who was in the pit just 2 nights ago, and you'll get a look at them down south, and we'll get kind of a feel for what the Aggies are, because honestly, we're kind of at this point again where I don't know, right? I mean, last year was a complete, I just don't know what New Mexico State is. Jason Hooten's now in his second year, and I mean, when I talk about starting from scratch, everybody says, oh, he's starting from scratch. Dude, starting from scratch. I mean, that program shut down. Like, had nothing. So we'll watch and see how that goes. What else you get tonight? You get a little American action. East Carolina and Tulsa, if you want the college football. And Dallas and Utah is an interesting NBA game for you tonight. So that's where you are. All right, what do you watch tonight? You got a game tomorrow night, right?
Yes, tomorrow night.
Lobo women against Western, is that right?
Western got to put solid 4 quarters together against the D2 team, get that confidence. The next 2 games with Gonzaga in the pit, not this weekend, but next weekend.
So next weekend Gonzaga's in?
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yes, it is.
All right, can you want me to work on getting Bradbury? Oh. See what I can do. Appreciate you. Thank you to Jerry Palm, CBS Sports. He was with us today. Richard Pitino, Lobo men's basketball coach, was also here. If you'd like to hear those, missed them, they're wherever you get your podcasts or on our website. SportsAnimalABQ.com. Click on the opening drive. It's all there. Jim Rome's show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowards after that. 2 Men On come in at 4 o'clock. And then we're back tomorrow morning with award-winning radio. We will start at 7 a.m. Adrian looks great on the visuals, always does. Big day for you?
Huge day.
All right, enjoy it. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Okie. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque.